and she had three different jobs to make ends meet, and he had been inspired by her devotion to him, and he was going to repay her by making something monumental in his life. And when I asked him, you must be really chuffed to be at the Tour de France, it's such a big event. And his attitude was, no, I'm here to win. And he said, the team boss tells me I'm here to learn. He said, screw that. I don't care about learning. I care about winning. I'm going to win. When I get in the finish, he said, it's like I shriek, I scream. He said, I shake all over. And I think of my mum and what she did for me, and I say, I can't lose this, I can't lose. And I remember coming away from that and desperate to kind of see Paul and say, look, I've met this guy, I've spent 3 hours with him, I'm telling you, this guy we're going to hear so much about this guy. And I was taken by him. And in time I would look back, and I would have to admit that the stuff that I liked about Lance Armstrong was what I would now call his sociopathic tendencies, in the sense that he was going to win, but he was telling me he would win at any costs. And because I was that kind of, still a bit of a fan, you want to meet somebody who's going to be a winner. You want to say, I interviewed him in his very first year. I got in the lift with this guy when he was going to the top, and we were on the bottom, but I was there with him on that day. And it really has made me think about, what do we want our sportsmen to do? Are we saying it's a really good thing to want to win at any cost? Well, it's not. But that day, when I was listening to Lance Armstrong for the first time, I was kind of swooned by all that talk.
Okay. So, to fast forward, Lance gets cancer, then he gets well, then he wins the 1999 Tour de France, and it becomes the great fairy tale. I'd like everyone to watch this. I had great fun putting this clip together, and I think it says a lot about Armstrong. It says a lot about the persistence and courage of the two gentlemen on my left. And it begins with one famous American chat show and ends with another one.
I'll tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking for a personal hero, if you're looking for somebody by whom to be inspired, you could certainly do a lot worse than this next guy. This is an amazing deal right here. On Sunday, less than 3 years after being diagnosed with cancer, our first guest became only the second American ever to win the Tour de France. Please welcome a champion and a hero, Lance Armstrong. Lance? What do you think about the book in general?
I'll say one thing about the book, and especially since our esteemed author is here. In my view, I think extraordinary accusations must be followed up with extraordinary proof. And Mr. Walsh and Mr. Ballester have worked 4 or 5 years, and they have not come up with extraordinary proof.
What do you think about that?
I'm not done. The case is now incredibly complicated and will be a long one. I have engaged lawyers in both France and England. I will spend whatever it takes, however long it takes, to bring justice to the case.
Do you think Lance Armstrong is going to win the Tour de France for the 6th time?
You know, this is a strange answer, but I mean it. I don't care. I don't care who wins the race. What I care about is clean sport. And we must come back to this tour believing in it more than we believe now. This is a bad time for cycling, but I hope the times are going to get better. And I think they get better if we're honest.
And finally, the last thing I'll say for the people who don't believe in cycling, the cynics and the skeptics, I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry you can't dream big, and I'm sorry you don't believe in miracles.
Let's talk a little bit about the doping.
This is not the first time it's happened to me. This stuff started back in 1998 when I pissed in the bottle. As I told you earlier, having never taken performance-enhancing drugs, when I pissed in the bottle, there was not EPO in that piss or urine.
From our perspective, and from what's gone on at U.S. Postal and Discovery and all of those tours, we have nothing to hide.
I have never doped. I could say it again, but I've said it for 7 years, it doesn't help. But the fact of the matter is I'm happy.
He has told ESPN on the record and on camera that back in '95, when the team was struggling, that you announced to the team that you were going to begin doping and you were encouraging other teammates to do the same. What do you say to that account?
You know, again, complete nonsense.
My case, I mean, I came out of a life-threatening disease. I was on my deathbed. You think I'm going to come back into a sport and say, okay, doctor, give me everything you got. I just want to go fast. No way. We'd never do that.
How many times have you said, I just want to make sure your testimony is clear? Or if it can't be any clearer than I've never taken drugs, then incidents like that could never happen. Okay. How clear is that?
Everybody wants to know what I'm on. What am I on? I'm on my bike, busting my ass 6 hours a day.
One word to sum this all up: credibility.
This boy, any other way of bullying and intimidation behind, wrapped in this great cloak as the great cancer martyr. That's what he hides behind all the time. The great man who conquered cancer. But he is the cancer in the sport.
Lance, you've spoken recently about the return of Ivan Basso and Floyd Landis after their suspensions, and compared them to David Miller, and that they should be welcomed back in the way that David Miller was welcomed back. There was one obvious difference in that David Miller has been very pronounced in his anti-doping stance, where these guys have admitted to nothing. What is it about these dopers that you seem to admire so much?
Excuse me. What is your name again?
My name is Paul Kimmage. I work for Sunday Times. I asked for an interview, but I didn't get one.
Right, and just as a little preface, I might just clear up one thing. The reason you didn't get it, Paul, I wanted to make sure that was you because I don't know what you look like. When I decided to come back, for what I think is a very noble reason, you said, folks, the cancer has been in remission for 4 years, but our cancer has now returned, meaning me. I am here to fight this disease. I am here so that I don't have to deal with it, you don't have to deal with it, none of us have to deal with it, my children don't have to deal with it. But yet you said that I am the cancer, and the cancer is out of remission. So I think it goes without saying, no, we're not going to sit down and do an interview. And I don't think anybody in this room would sit down for that interview. You are not worth the chair that you're sitting on with a statement like that, with a disease that touches everybody around the world. I'm not sure I will ever forgive you for that statement. And I'm not sure that anybody around the world that has been affected by this disease will forgive you.
The breaking news now on Lance Armstrong. The global governing body of cycling has just announced moments ago it will ban Armstrong for life and strip him of his 7 tour titles. ABC's Neil Karlinski joined us now from Seattle with the very latest on this breaking news. Neil.
Amy, that's right. This is it. The UCI Cycling's governing body at that press conference going on in Switzerland right now, officially stripping Armstrong, banning him for life, saying, quote, there is no place in cycling for Lance Armstrong. This was the final hurdle, and it is now really an officially epic downfall. Lance Armstrong turning into a virtual outcast in just a matter of days.
Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
Yes or no? Was one of those banned substances EPO?
Yes.
Did you ever blood dope or infusions to enhance your cycling